Can we talk about Africa?
For sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's talk about Africa. Vitally important. Where do I start? So if you're not familiar, if you haven't been following us on social media, we are taking a tour of Africa. We are in our second country. We started in Rwanda, and it coincided with the NBA Africa League, and now we are in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. Shout out to all the Kenya diaspora. So we're gonna hit a couple other countries before we leave. It's an extended trip, and we're here to talk to dignitaries, entrepreneurs, and further our reach inside the continent.
Well played.
Got to do it.
Yep.
So first, let's man, Rwanda country. I don't think a lot of people really understand like the level of infrastructure that they have. Man, they run this country. They run that country on a very efficient model. Everybody told us it was the cleanest country in Africa. When I got there, I realized why they said that, because there's no trash. They don't even have. They don't allow plastic bags inside the country.
Yes,
it's like the Rwanda, like for real. Like they don't allow plastic bags inside the country.
And plastic bottles will be out by next year. The last crop of plastic bottles are now being distributed, and there won't be any more going forward.
There's no trash on the streets. Streets are immaculate. I didn't see any homelessness when I was there. I didn't see any people begging for money. Security is super tight everywhere you go. Very militant. Very impressive. Extremely, and it's beautiful too. They got mountains. It looks like Switzerland or something. Like it's like it's all in the hills, mountains, green, very lush green. We went to see the gorillas, so there's a bunch of different things to do in Rwanda. But okay, now when we go to Rwanda, we meet a variety of different people, and everybody, man, shout out to Fatima. There's too many people to name, but Fatima, she's important. We'll get her on Market Mondays soon. She's an entrepreneur that's actually building a real estate development out there. She kind of like laid out a whole itinerary for us and everything. But we met a lot of great people with like NBA Africa. We met a lot of great people in the government. A lot of opportunity for sure. Khalees actually owns a lot of property in Rwanda.
Really? Okay.
Khalees lives in Kenya. She moved to Kenya, but she was in Rwanda, and she was telling us she owns a lot of property in Rwanda as well. So she's all over Africa, just buying up land and doing a variety of different things. We got to talk to her. We got to talk to her eventually too. But they were very impressed about InvestFest, and we are here working on behalf of InvestFest also. I'll say that. We're here working to try to get people to come speak at InvestFest. For sure. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And we're also working on behalf of trying to get just representation from the continent at InvestFest. So there will be panels about investing in Africa at InvestFest. There will be presence inside the vendor marketplace at a high level. Let's just say that. To promote investment on the continent, because it's crazy. We went to a restaurant yesterday, and when we was in Rwanda, and shout out to Tuma, and he told us like a local restaurant. So we met an entrepreneur, and older gentleman, but you can tell like he's like a very well respected, savvy entrepreneur. He's like one of those guys, and he has a variety of different businesses outside of just being a restaurateur. But after we ate, we had a conversation with him, and he said, I need you. He said,
and quote,
he said, well, first he said, he said, how you like Rwanda, how you like Africa? I'm like, we love it. He's like, this is your continent. Like, this is your continent. He's like, have you bought property out here? Yeah. I'm like, he's like, what you waiting for? I'm like, we just trying to figure it out. He's like, this is your continent. He's like, now I want you to tell your people in America. This is what he said. I said, I need you to tell your people in America. He said, and it was a very respectful way, but he was like the chains that you have on your neck, He was like, cash. He was like, just cash those chains in and invest.
Buy property.
He's like, invest in Africa. He's like, invest. He's like, anywhere. But he was like, since we're in Rwanda, he was champion that. He was like, anywhere on the continent. He was like, look, he was like, just try it out. Just buy one property. Like he was like literally like going. He was like, look, he's like, why are you staying there? Like, why are you in a country that doesn't want you? He was like, yo, we need you here. Like, he's like, tell your people. He's like, take the chains, like cash in the chains and buy a house in Africa.
Like, he broke it down to a science. He was like, yo, how much would a house cost you? Let's say in Atlanta, like maybe 400,000. He's like, how much rental income would you get for that? We're like, I don't know, maybe 3,000, 3,500. He was like, I could buy $125,000 house and get the same rent here. Why would you waste the money?
Yeah, and housing in Atlanta is way more than that now. We talked about
for
that.
sure.
Housing in Atlanta, $1.1 million, $2 million. But yeah, he's very educated on the geopolitical landscape because he used to live in Canada.
Yep.
So we had a conversation about the political landscape currently in America. We had a conversation about real estate prices in Atlanta. We had a conversation about minerals in Africa. And he's very educated person when it comes to the world. But his thing was, why are you wasting your time over there? He's like, even if you don't come full time, like just have something. He's like, I want you to know, and I want your audience to know that this is your continent.
Straight up.
Say it again, please, because they may not have heard it the first time.
And
this is coming from a person who's in Africa, right? Because I know they try and put up.
This is coming from an African that's living in Africa. Now, when he say it's your continent, not to say like it's not his too, but he's saying like it's ours. So he's like, look, why are you not here? Why don't come? Like, why don't come here? He's like, we got the infrastructure, we got everything, we running the government. He's like, why aren't more people not coming?
I'll just add to being in Rwanda. Outside of it, yes, I feel like it was the safest. I don't think I felt any safer anywhere that I've been in the world. Definitely one of the safest places. Definitely one of the cleanest places as well. But how government works with the private sector and works with its citizens is pretty impressive. Like everybody has the same vision to make sure that they promote Rwanda to be the brightest and be it full of opportunity. Everybody's on that same mission, no matter where, if it's the restaurant, if you're walking down the store, if you're in the car with the driver, everybody has that same vision of loving the government, but loving what they can help do in terms of infrastructure. So we went to a few properties, and shout out to Fatima again, but she brought us to her development, which was affordable housing, which is incredible because sustainability that they've been able to create. We were sitting here like, why aren't we doing this here in America? Like, why? What kind of codes are they passing in infrastructure and technology are they creating that they're able to do this at scale in a very short amount of time? And then we saw luxury housing. And I know everybody's like, the first thing when they think of Africa is not luxury. Right? But why wouldn't you? Right? Like there's people who have wealth and there's people who want to obtain it. And so when we went to the luxury properties, it's like, man, this is incredible.
Insane.
Like real cities. And so a couple of things that I noticed was like, obviously, who's running it, who's the architect, who's the engineer, who's the interior designer, all look like us. But on top of it, it was like everybody's pretty young that's doing this. The team that we met, I mean, maybe mid-40s or younger, which is incredible.
That's incredible.
Right? And we've seen a few Americans that have gone there and said, like, there's no need for us to go back.
Well, there's a bunch of Americans expats that have moved there. There's a bunch of people that was living in America that moved back or got educated in America. Fatima, she actually went to Wharton School of Business and came back. So there's a lot of people that are like not really pressed about trying to just live in America. Like they could have the option to live there if they want to, but it's like too much money, too much opportunity, too friendly, too peaceful. And the thing about the country too is that they had the genocide that happened 30 years ago. So if you've seen that movie Hotel in Rwanda, which they have very strong views about that, but so they rebuilt.
What were the views? Not to cut you off.
They said it was
a propaganda piece.
Some truths and some falsehoods.
Yeah, they said a lot of
creative license.
Yeah, a lot of misrepresentation.
Some misrepresentation.
A lot of misrepresentation was done on that. That's what they say. But it's like Singapore. There's no smoking. So I asked them yesterday. there's no drugs in Rwanda. You can't smoke weed, so you're not going to see nobody. It's a very militant place. Like if you've been to Singapore, you can you understand what I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
it reminds me of Singapore. Like it's very militant. The nightlife is they don't really have like it's not like on the west side. Like they don't party to like, but everybody's not a partier. So some people just want to just have a peaceful,
Yeah.
just quiet life and just enjoy their life, right? So that's Rwanda. Now we're in Kenya.
Hold on, before we leave, because you talked about entrepreneurs, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say that we went to a tech hub inside of Kigali. And when you want to talk about just brilliance, so this tech hub is pretty much solving the problems for the continent. And so a lot of people are coming here, investors are coming here, but a lot of the brilliant minds of the continent are coming here. We spoke to a gentleman, and we'll probably have him on Market Mondays as well, who's creating infrastructure for, I guess it would be like W-9 workers in a sense, right?
No,
Contracted workers.
no, gig economy. The gig
Okay.
economy. Like Uber drivers.
Oh, well, yes. But that was part of it. It was the Uber economy, obviously, from people getting jobs, but the people who do a lot of the contracting was like, how do you know how much they've worked? How do you know the projects that they worked on? There's no data set for it, which is not a problem. Like, we don't think about that, but like that's a real issue. If you have a lot of infrastructure and you have a lot of people that are working for it, it would be like when you go to the side of the road and you pick up somebody and you're like, oh, I need you to fix something. Like, there's a country that's doing that, but nobody's getting documented. And when they go to banks or institutions to try to get loans or try to have credit, there's no paperwork on them. So how do you create the infrastructure that has that paperwork? And now when they go to an institution to say, hey, this is the body of work I've done. Here's my work history. Here's how much I've made. Here's what I need. That becomes more of an easier process, which is not something that sitting there thinking about. I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. How many countries need something like that? I mean, just a lot of brilliance is happening.